I am so excited to share with you guys what has been working lately with Instagram stories. And I have recently really changed a lot about the way I approach my stories. And I have gone from typically like 200, 300, 400 views. If I was lucky, I would get 500 views or more on my stories, to more recently, I'm easily getting 1,500, 2,000, even like over 2,000 views on single stories that I am posting. And so I really wanted to create this video to share with you guys exactly what I have done, what I have changed, what has led to such great results when it comes to stories, because not only am I getting that reach, but honestly, the reason I'm getting that reach is because I'm using it to convert with my ManyChat DM automations. And so people are replying, they're getting free stuff, they're getting into my offers, and then that just almost perpetuates getting more views because you're getting more engagement, and the more views turns into more engagement, and then it just helps to really dramatically increase the amount of reach with your stories. And by the way, I actually have 10 different Instagram story ideas for you in my 10-day Instagram plan. This is brand new. I'm gonna put a link right below in the description where you can get access to essentially like 10 prompts, plug and play, to create and execute on the story ideas that I'm gonna be talking about and breaking down inside of this video. So I have a few different story ideas that I have pulled up for you. I'm gonna walk you through each of them and like the strategy and why they worked, so you can get a really good idea, really good grasp on what exactly I'm doing and what's working right now. And to also give you some context, so in the past, I've been using Instagram for business, man, for like 10 years now. It's kind of crazy to think about. And there's definitely been things that have been so foundational in like the way I approach Instagram that hasn't changed, right? But there's also been ways in how I approach Instagram that has definitely changed a lot over the years as trends have come, algorithms have changed. When I first started using Instagram to like book photography clients way back in, this would have been like 2014, 2015, Instagram stories wasn't even a thing. I remember when stories came out. I remember when reels came out. So I've definitely been with it through like so many changes. And one of the things that has been so important to me and the way that I approach Instagram and really just my business as a whole too, is this idea of having a personal brand. And stories has been a really great way for me to connect with my audience personally and to like basically show them, hey, like I'm a human. Here's like my life. I'm documenting my life, sharing things about me that have nothing to do with my business. But I will say a big shift in the way that I've been approaching stories recently with what I'm going to share with you is I'm not just sharing my life anymore, okay? I'm being very strategic about what are call to actions that my audience will eat up, that they're absolutely going to love, that I can share with them, make it a ManyChat DM automation, the call to action, okay? That people are going to reply for that automation, but that's gonna boost all my stories. So even if I wanna post more stories, like after that one story slide, that's gonna boost my views for all of my stories, even if I do wanna share something that's like not business related. And I've also just found myself leaning a little bit more into my feed content, like photos, photo dumps, carousels, things like that, for sharing like personal stories and things and not just stories, because stories are such a great way to convert. Like think about the viewers on your stories are like your hottest leads, okay? And by doing this, I went from, I would have maybe 100 to 200 people every month like comment for my ManyChat automations, but it was mainly in feed content is where I was doing that. What I realized is I was missing a huge opportunity by not also leveraging stories in a similar way. And in the past, if I posted a story that was very much to try to get people to reply for a DM automation, it was like getting a freebie, getting an offer, getting an affiliate link, whatever it is, I was lucky if I have 5 to 10 people. I haven't had a lot of stories that had more than that. I put my focus into building out, helping more of you get on YouTube earlier this year. But I decided this summer, I'm like, you know what? I feel like there's something I can do here. I feel like there's some changes I can make to make this feel simpler for me. So my new strategy is so much simpler than what I was doing, like constantly posting behind the scenes of my personal life and personal branding and all that stuff. Like felt like so much more pressure to constantly show up than this strategy that I'm going to be talking about. And it's actually been working as far as people actually replying to my stories. Not only am I getting a ton more views, I'm getting so much more engagement, like people actually replying. Usually when I do this, easily I get 50 replies for my DM automation, which that alone is crazy. But I've had some get upwards of 100, 150. I think I had one at almost 200. And that's insane. That's insane for me. So that's why I really want to share it with you today, because I know it's going to help some of you. and to really just give you a taste of like what this strategy is so you can implement it yourself. So, okay, let me go ahead and pull up the examples and we're gonna walk through it together. Okay, so example number one. So this works really well when you wanna share anything that's new. So if it's new content on another platform, if it's a new freebie that you've created, okay? And the key here is to like spin it in a way that it's like they feel stupid saying no, basically. And so it does kind of come back to like your freebies, your call to actions, the new content. Like it does need to be actually something people want. And so, okay, let me just read it off to you. This is actually one of like the prompts that is in that 10-day Instagram plan because it just works so incredibly well. I've used it in like different variations for different things and it always just works so well. So I put in, this is for this specific one. It says, just published. I finally finished a brand new free 34-page passive income guide. That's like bigger text. If you're not watching on YouTube, I'll try to explain as best I can, but also visually seeing these on YouTube might be helpful. So obviously the link is in the description if you're watching on the podcast. In smaller text below that, this is literally an entire overview of how my entire business operates, how I make 6 figures a year on part-time hours. It's the juicy, real stuff. Your exact steps to start today. I'm telling it to you straight and leave nothing out. You'll find out what it really takes. Reply guide for the link. And I have guide. I always make my call to action, like the words, the keywords, a brighter color. So I'm always typically making my text boxes white background, black text because that pops the most. It's easiest to read universally across the platform. And then I just highlight the keyword. This one, it's like a darker pink color, but I'll do like pink, green, yellow, things like that. Obviously people can read it. So that I posted. And by the way, you can even see this example, see how it works. If you go to my Instagram, go to my highlight free. I'll link it below. You can tap through tons of examples of how I'm doing this, but this example is in there right now. And so this is one story slide, okay? It got 2,615 views. It had 142 people actually reply, had 20 likes. So like I was saying earlier, like all of those replies, like pretty much all of them were for my passive income guide. Okay. So if someone read this, they're like, yes, I want it. They replied with guide. Okay. And every single time someone replies to your story, it's more engagement. Instagram has said engagement on your stories is what helps more people to see your stories, right? And they did actually just change. So it was a glitch for a long time. Remember, you know the hack that like if you post one story slide, it will dramatically increase your views. That was actually a glitch. And Instagram, the head of Instagram, just said they fixed that glitch. And I've actually seen that to be very true for my account. Like now when I post one story slide versus if I post like this type of story slide first and then maybe post 2 other ones after, like my story views don't tank because I'm posting more story slides, okay? Just wanted to mention that because that was really helpful for me recently, but so that's no longer the case. So you can post like one of these and then do a couple more stories after. But it's just insane. So people were replying for this guide, right? And then that's obviously, for me, about 70 to 80% of people who reply actually finish giving me their email address and get onto my email list first. And then a lot of times I'm also pitching them an offer. So maybe it's like, hey, for the next 20 minutes, you can get $100 off my Create It Bot Squad or, whatever offer I want to pitch here. And I do that via Instagram DM, or I do that like directly within this guide. There's like links with discount codes and stuff like that people can use. So that's an example, basically like a PSA, brand new. It can be like brand new, just published, new for you, like whatever, that kind of hook of like, this is new, this is fresh. And it's a really great way to also repurpose what you're already doing. Like if you create YouTube content, a podcast onto Instagram, make your life easier, work smarter, right? Okay, so second example here, this basically came up with this idea from the idea that if you do experiments, things people will find interesting in your niche, okay? Like then you can report on those experiments, those tests, whatever it is. And that is some of the most engaging content you can create. So like this one is talking about how I made shifts to my Instagram content, how my leads blew up from Instagram, right? So in big text on this story at the top, it says how to blow up your leads on Instagram right now. So I'm leading with like the exact juicy thing that people are going to want. And then in a smaller text box below it says, side note, I've made some ridiculously simple but strong shifts to my Instagram content lately. So essentially I tested things, right? Made some shifts, and now I'm reporting back to my audience on it. Okay, to continue, it's led to over doubling my leads in 1 month. Last month, over 450 people went through my ManyChat automations. Crazy. And I did not go viral or post a lot more. If you want to know how I did it, reply with leads and I'll send you the breakdown straight to your DMs. And this one was honestly like when I talk about creating new freebies or creating new things to give people, like this one, I just wanted to test this. And I knew this wasn't going to be like an evergreen freebie for me in the sense of I'm testing on like what worked last month, right? I'm probably not going to share this freebie with my audience in my YouTube content because that's more evergreen content or in other places. But I just wanted to see how it would resonate with my audience first. This wasn't even a Google Doc. It wasn't a fancy PDF. It was literally in ManyChat. I'll put a screenshot on the screen. It's like literally just multiple DMs in a row that I'm like sharing all this information, okay? So it's not like I spent all this time putting together this freebie. And even now, like a lot of my freebies, when they're like ebooks, I'm just doing Google Docs, okay? I am not doing anything fancy. So this story slide had 943 views and 63 replies. So when someone wanted to learn, like, oh, what is she talking about? I want to learn about that. And this was, I think, even after I first shared it to my feed, and I had a ton of people use the automation on my feed first before I posted on my stories. So that's pretty strong for like my hottest leads already seeing it once in my feed. Okay, next one here is I wish someone had told me this sooner. It's like the big text on the screen. This is actually when I started testing all of this and made this shift. This is one of the first stories that I posted and it blew up for me. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. Okay, so the smaller text box below that says, but there's actually a specific type of course that sells really well. No, it's not just making slides in Canva and recording audio over them. I made a new doc where I break down my 5 must-haves for a viral course. My top course has 1,300 plus students in it. Reply with breakdown for the free list of what a course needs for people to actually want to buy. So like if someone was interested in that, they would reply with breakdown. And I was also doing this when I was about to launch my Create It Bot Squad, which is like they're like AI assistants and tools and templates to actually create your online course. So I was like priming my audience for that. This ended up getting 2,243 views and 97 story replies. And remember, up until this point, like I mentioned, I was lucky to get 5 people to like reply to my stories. And just by making these shifts of like having a bold hook at the top, making it so juicy. I made this freebie, actually, it was a new freebie for me because I realized I needed some stronger freebies that were super juicy and just like what people would really want. And this is an idea that I had come up with and it obviously worked really, really, really well. So to reiterate, like the main takeaways that I want you to take away from these examples is number 1, like that shift from constant influencer style content on your stories, which personal branding is still amazing. Don't get me wrong. Please keep using your personal brand. You know, I'm a huge fan of that, but incorporating things like this that are it's like juicy, they're strong hooks, they're strong call to actions, they're ManyChat DM automations. That's a huge key here, that you are using ManyChat automations. That's super key in just increasing your overall reach and engagement on your stories. It's also going to increase your reach on other stories that you share as well by including these. With this way, it's also very simple. There are many days. These are the only story slides I'm posting for the day and I'm done because I have nothing else I want to share. And it feels a lot more freeing, and then feeling like I have to constantly share like, what's the latte I made this morning? Where did I go with my girls that day? What have I done that's interesting? Like being able to do this, choose a photo of myself. By the way, pro tip here, I recommend like a smartphone photo. It feels a little more authentic, down to earth, genuine, just like besides not using a professional photo. I use mainly just like iPhone photos. But it feels so simple, right? It feels so simple, especially as someone who right now, I just shifted my work schedule. I'm working Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And so Tuesday and Thursdays, I'm almost totally off from working pretty much. And so it feels very freeing when I want to throw up a story slide on like those Tuesdays and Thursdays. I just need to do one. I don't have to think about it if I don't want to. And so if you haven't downloaded that 10-day Instagram plan yet, be sure to do that down below in the description. You're going to absolutely love it. It's 10 ideas for stories. It's also 10 ideas for your feed content. So I'm really excited to see how you enjoy that. And also if you're like, as I was talking through the ManyChat automation stuff, if you're like, I don't even know where to begin with that, I actually created a recent new tutorial on my channel for how to set up a ManyChat automation for your freebies. That's the main place I want you to start, is have a really strong freebie. Is what you'll notice a lot of these ideas are, and set it up so that you're directly collecting emails within Instagram. So people aren't having to like click onto a page and then fill out their information and then get on your email list, right? It's like literally all within Instagram. And that also has led to a much higher conversion rate for my freebies. Before, I'd have like maybe half of people actually click the link, and then it take them to a landing page, and they have to like, put in their name, put in their email, and I'd have maybe 20 to 30% of people actually do that. So the amount of people from the beginning that were like doing my automations, it was a much lower number getting actually onto my email list and finishing out that process versus doing it this way, collecting emails within Instagram. You're able to acquire so many more email addresses, grow your list so much more. So go ahead, watch that video next. And I'm so excited for you to get started with this Instagram story strategy. Please let me know how it goes. Bye guys.